So we're going to be checking out European versus American homes. Really interested to check this one out. I've seen a couple of differences so far, and there's been some big differences, but really interested to jump into this video. Just before we do, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit the subscribe button. It massively helps out the channel. We're growing. But yeah, let's just jump into it and press play.
So I wanted to start outside because it is very convenient things about American homes that I don't see in France. Has to do with the post office, which is not my favorite part of France. The post office has made me cry numerous times. But what's so great in the US is that with your mailbox, you of course, the mailman drops off letters. But if you want to send letters, all you have to do is open the mailbox, put in your letters, and then you just raise the little red flag.
No way.
And it tells the postman that you want him to pick up the letters.
I think in the UK we've got it a little bit backwards, because there is places that I've seen these boxes and I've seen the postman put the letters in and then raise up the flag. But in America, you put your mail in there and then you raise up the flag and they take it away. The mailman comes and takes it away for you. There's places in the UK that if you're very rural, you're very like out the way. If you leave letters in the letterbox at the front door, because in the UK we've got letterboxes. If you leave letters in the letterbox, then they'll take that and send them off for you. But other than that, you've got to go to a post box. There's like normally post boxes in town and stuff like that. But I never knew that. Like I said, I've seen these boxes and I've seen the mailman come along, put post in it and put the flag up to let them know that there's something in there. But in America, you do it the opposite way. You put your mail in there, raise up the flag to let the mailman know there's mail for them to take. That's interesting. Different, yeah.
That are inside. It's very convenient. And I know in France, they're starting now where you can choose a time, tell the post office, leave something inside, etc., and plan like a whole appointment to get your mail picked up. But I think it's kind of nice that you just have this nifty.
That's a lot better.
Behind me, you can see some of the neighbors' houses next to my mom's house. I always feel like I've made it home to the Midwest when I drive up and there are no fences or walls or things blocking the front
we spoke about this in another video.
Where I'm from, you can't really see inside people's backyards, but the front yards tend to be really open. That's not to say that sometimes you won't see fences, but usually you can see what's going on in people's front yards. As you can see, the three neighbors behind me, there are no fences in their front yards. One of the things that I feel like is typically American as well when I drive up or I come to homes in the US is that there tends to be a lot more cars versus the number of people who live in the house. So you can see here that there are two people that live at my mom's, but they have 1, 2, 3, 4 cars in the driveway, and all 4 of those cars are there.
So let me know in the comments, is that common? You do sometimes see in the UK, there'll be a family and they'll just have one car and they'll kind of alternate it. But in America, you have multiple cars. Is that common? Let me know in the comments.
Their own cars. And in France, I tend to find that a lot of times there's one car for 2 people, or maybe you've got one car for one person and you know, one car for the other, but there's not 2 cars for each person.
I don't like sharing my car.
Very American. So as I walk into the house, you can't feel it the same way that I can, but there is, first of all, a golden retriever. It's pretty American. Say hi, Piper. Say hello to everyone. It's also the blast of cold, icy air that I'm feeling right now as the air conditioning takes over. There is so much air conditioning in the US.
In the UK, I've never been in a house that's got air conditioning. It sounds like a dream for me. It sounds like a dream. I would love to have air conditioning.
I have personally maybe been in one home in France that actually has air conditioning. Yes, there's air conditioning in offices, there's air conditioning in restaurants, in grocery stores, but when it comes to people's actual homes, they tend to live without air conditioning.
That's true. The only place I've seen it is like offices or workplaces. Other than that, yeah, I've never seen it in someone's house. Not in the UK. I've never seen air conditioning.
And in the US, air conditioning is in almost every home that I've ever been in, and it is blasting.
You guys are so lucky.
So in terms of the difference of temperature outside and inside, it's huge. The next thing I'm going to show you is maybe my most favorite thing about American homes that I wish we had in France, and it's actually part of the windows, which sounds kind of weird.
Oh, the window.
If I open up this window, you guys will see that there is a screen on the window. So a screen
that's smart.
pretty much lets us open up the window, get some fresh air in here when the air conditioning's not on, and it keeps out.
I know in the UK we probably don't have bugs that are nearly as bad as the bugs you've got in America, but we still get a lot of bugs in the summer. They will just fly into your house. You'll get flies coming in and you can't get rid of them. That is that is a genius idea. That is a genius idea. We should have that in the UK. Why do we not? That's a game changer.
The mosquitoes, the bugs, the flies, etc. In France, I have never seen a screen on a window, guys. We have
never seen it.
flies that come into our apartment in Paris, we have mosquitoes during the summer, and I think it's so convenient and so nice, and I have never ever seen one in a French home.
I need that.
So you'll let me know in the comments below if you have, but these are not very common, and when I see them, I'm like, we are in the US. All right, so the next thing I want to show you is in the kitchen. And this is another one that I think is very convenient and that I've never seen in France before. So here we are at the sink.
That's a big sink.
Not only is the sink really massive, and I don't see that as often in France, like these really big sinks. And also the sink, when you like turn it on, you've got a contraption here where you're able to move it, and then you're also able to change the type of water. This is not something I see as, as common in France, but that's not really the big thing about the sink.
In the UK, I think the only time you would ever see that is like in catering. If it's in a restaurant or something like that, but you're not seeing that in someone's house. That's crazy. That's great. I would love to have that. I would love to have that in my kitchen. It would just make life so much simpler. You could just take it. That's cool.
The big thing is the garbage disposal.
Oh, and this as well.
Every home has a garbage disposal. So pretty much
every
you're
home.
able to put food down the sink, and then you turn it on, and it just blows all the food to smithereens.
That would be so cool to have.
And you don't have to put all of the food in the garbage. And I find that really convenient when you're cleaning and stuff. And I've never seen that in France
Especially in the summer.
Another difference is the amount of ice that Americans consume. And when I'm in France, of course, people in their homes do tend to have ice if you ask, but they don't tend to really have like massive ice makers. And when you go to a restaurant, for example, in France, and you ask for ice, you get like 2 or 3 cubes. And when you go to the US, you have like an entire glass full of ice. Sometimes it's too much ice.
I like ice.
Could even be possible. And if you look at my mom's refrigerator, for example, you already have right here, ice that you can get at the front of the refrigerator, which I see less in France, but you can find.
I've seen these before, and I've always wanted one. I've always thought it's a really good idea to have a machine at the front of the fridge where you can get your ice. It's genius. It's genius. I think the problem in the UK, maybe our kitchens just ain't big enough. But if I had a big enough kitchen, this is the type of fridge that I would absolutely love to have.
Of course, but also just the amount of ice.
Oh, there's more.
If you look into my mom's freezer, not only do you have like a massive like bowl of ice here for the ice maker, but not only do you have one there, but you also have a second one. So up here, there's also the ice.
Oh, that's
cool. So
cool.
she's got 2 different ice makers so that she never runs out of ice. I feel like that is something that you don't really see as often in France, but that doesn't really shock me too much.
No.
So one of the final things that is very typically American in homes is we've got the good old couch over here.
Right.
Imagine that I'm having a very tired day and I want to relax at night and I want my feet up. Instead of putting my feet over here on this perfect ottoman, I'm just gonna lean over and I'm just gonna recline my feet slowly.
The dog's just looking like, oh, okay.
Just reclining. Oh, but it goes back a little bit and then I just relax and watch my...
I've actually seen these in the UK. You can get them. They're really expensive and I'm not even sure how they work. I'm guessing you got to plug it in. It's got to plug into the wall. I remember my nan had one where it was like a lever. It wasn't electric. It was just a lever that you could move. But yeah, interesting. I would absolutely love that. I'm starting to get really jealous just to get home after a hard day and you just press the button. Yeah, that would be cool.
TV. Again, you guys are going to let me know in the comments below if you know why, but I feel like that is very typically American to be able to just recline my feet. And when I was growing up, they weren't electric like they are now. It was like a big old handle that you would pull back like this and then your feet would go flying
I've seen that.
up. But super comfortable and practical, but not something I see very often in France. Can you guess how many televisions we have in a home here?
2.
For 2 people? I'm going to show you. Television number
Front
1.
one bedroom.
Number 2. Number 3.
Okay.
Number 4. Number 5. And just in case one TV with the workout machines is not enough, we've also got TV number 6.
Is this normal?
And finally, TV number... No, I'm kidding. There's no TV.
Let me know in the comments if that's normal. If you've got that many TVs in your house, is that a common thing? I'm curious to know.
And here, that's just all of the thermoses, the insulated cups that we have in the US. No, but seriously, when it comes to TVs, there are a lot of TVs in lots of different rooms, and most of the time in the US, people have televisions inside of their bedrooms, as well as in the dining room, as well as in the den, as well as sometimes in the kitchen. And in France, I really normally see one TV in the entire house. So it's just, as soon as I see lots of TVs in homes, I just think, yep, this is the US. All right, guys, that is a wrap on all of the differences between French and American homes that I wanted to point out to you. Let me know in the comments below what you thought and some of the differences that you noticed when you're traveling back and forth.
Counting how many TVs I've got one in each bedroom and one in the front room. I would love to have one in the kitchen because that'd be great when I'm cooking. But yeah, like I said, let me know how many TVs you got. Just curious about that. And let me know how many cars you've got as well, because personally, I've never shared my car. I've never shared my car with anyone. But a lot of people in the UK I've noticed do. So yeah, it seems to be a common thing in the UK to share your car. But yeah, really interesting video. Really enjoyed checking that one out. If you enjoyed it as well, please do hit the like button. And I'd really appreciate it if you could hit the subscribe button. It massively helps out the channel growing. But for now, I'll see you on the next reaction.